Members, thank you for being out here on the line today for your students. It's very important. My name is Stephen Miller. I'm the Vice President of the Washington Education Association. And this morning I was on Austin Jenkins' show on TVW. Tonight is the first episode of his year-round show of public issues, and all he wanted to talk about was what's going on with the strikes and McCleary money. And obviously he had a lot of questions about Tumwater because you're right here in his backyard. And I want to assure you, you are doing what's right. And there were some amazing, where are the student signs that are here?
They're coming down here.
They're coming down right now. And that really says it all, that we're doing this for the students of Tumwater. But I'm a social studies teacher, so that means I have to do a little history lesson. So I just want to share with you how long this has been going on. And I talked to one of your younger members here, and this started before she started working in our profession, probably when she was in the schools right here in Tumwater, correct?
Hold on, I graduated 03.
So 03, oh, it's close, it's close. So, we had to take the state to court on school funding, right? And we're a very unique state because what is the paramount duty of the Washington state government?
Fully fund basic ed.
Public education. We have it written in our Constitution. And I want to show you how easy it was to win our lawsuit to prove that they've been underfunding schools. Have you been underpaid your entire career? Oh, no, that's not loud enough. Have you been underpaid your entire career?
Yes!
There we go. Has your class size been too large or caseload been too large your entire career?
Yes!
Has the state ever fully funded special ed?
No!
So you can see this was pretty easy to prove in court, and we actually had ample evidence all over the state of this. Of course, it had to go through the appellate system, so it took some time. But this last session was the final session where the state legislature said, okay, we feel guilty that we've been found in contempt of the paramount duty of the Supreme Court McCleary decision that said, yes, you have failed to fully and amply fund public education. So this year they had one issue left. They'd already put some money into class size. They'd already put some money into other parts of the budget. But there was one area left that the state legislature had yet to fully fund. What was that area?
Salary.
Loud. What was it? Salary. So I want to be clear. There was a bill passed this spring. It put $2 billion into salary here in Washington State. And that is only where the money should go. 100% to salary. And it's not just for Tumwater members, because we have secretaries, bus drivers, custodians that are in your buildings with you. They're supposed to get salary money. In fact, they were so specific about salary money in the bill. The bill is only 50 pages long. If you want to read it, it's very good sleeping reading. But I did a Word document search, and you can find in a less than 50-page document the mention of salary, compensation, and wages 70 times. Over 70 times they say it in that bill. So they passed the bill. They showed it to the Supreme Court of Washington State, and Washington State said, congratulations, state legislature, you have finally met the McCleary decision by funding up to the level they said. And that is what the state legislature expects this money to be used for. Chris Rakedell, who works right down the street here, wrote a letter just last month saying, hey, legislature, remember you passed the bill? Yes, this is what the money's for. Superintendents, school boards, please read the bill carefully. It is clearly for salary. It is not for levy problems in the future. It is not for special superintendent pet projects. It is not to build up the reserve funds.
Yep.
You have been underpaid for over 20 years. Some of you less, because you're younger. But that was the intent of the money. And if we don't put the money into salary, what's going to happen? Not only will you continue to be underpaid, but how are we going to attract and retain the next generation of teachers? Because you're growing. This district is growing. Trust me, I live up in the Seattle Bellevue area. It's expensive to own a home up there. This is where people are living, and this is a growth economy down here. You have shifted to a new economy down in the Olympia area. And, I mean, you're starting to have some housing problems down here. I read the Olympia city council meetings. They're talking about building low-income housing down here. So this is a big time growth area. Tumwater will grow. You have to attract the next generation to move here. And I've already had one person at the ESD this morning who said, you know, I started my career in Bethel and I came back here because this is where I was born and raised, but that Bethel salary schedule is looking really good for next year. And I can drive to that in 30 minutes if I leave early enough in the morning. So, you know, that's what you don't want to have happen. You don't want Tumwater members getting in their car and driving to better salary, because the students of Tumwater deserve to keep you. They deserve to have the best counselors, the best educators, the best secretaries, the best custodians, because the Tumwater children can't get in their car and drive to Bethel. They can't get in their car and drive to Auburn and Bellevue and Shoreline. This is where they live. They deserve the best education possible. The superintendent and school board of Tumwater need to understand that. And regarding taking us to court to force you back to work, as the sign says back there that the student's holding, it's bullying. That is flat out bullying by your superintendent and school board. They need to stop that behavior. They need to model the behavior they ask us to teach our students in school, how to resolve conflicts. And there's only one place to resolve a conflict like this: at the bargaining table. Nowhere else, not in court, not in the newspapers, not in press releases, at the bargaining table. And it's a simple solution. The state legislature said you get X millions of dollars, Tumwater, for educator salary. Put all that money into educator salary, and guess what we're going to be doing on Monday? Teaching. We'll be going to work, kids will be coming in our classrooms, and we'll get on with the school year as we want. So I want to thank you for being here today, and thank you for standing out here on the line, because I have one simple question. Should all the McCleary money go to your salary?
Yes.
Good. Stay strong, stay united, and then let's make sure it gets there for your salary and for the future of Tumwater School District. Thank you very much.
So if all that money is supposed to come to us,
Yep.
why aren't we suing the district office for not giving us the money that they are supposed to get?
So the same logic of why I don't want the district in court forcing you back to work, we've already won the legal argument. We started it in 2007 with the McCleary lawsuit. We won it through every level of the courts. It's done. It's proven. We won it. The money has been allocated. It is designated for Tumwater. It says very clearly the dollar amount you should have that goes to salary. And they were so specific, they put the money into 3 buckets: administrator bucket, classified bucket, certificated bucket. You're the certificated bucket. All of this has already been decided. I don't need to go to court to prove this anymore. The problem is,
How do we move that? How do we make this
well, there are 5 individuals here in Tumwater who are elected to their job. What job is that?
School board.
So, that's who you need to convince to do their job, because one person works for them. Who's that? Superintendent. That's who is hired by your school board. That's the relationship here that matters. So you need to make it clear. I was just at the Chinook office. In just 2 hours of request time, you've already got over 100 parents who have signed the petition telling the school board, do not take the teachers to court. Do not force them back to school. Get back to the bargaining table and put the McCleary money where it belongs. That's how we do this, through the public pressure on elected 5 individuals who are directing the superintendent. Good question, though, by the way. As a government teacher, I really love that question. Do you guys have any other questions?
Why are they saying they can't afford us? They can't pay us the money.
Why are they saying that? I can't explain why your superintendent and school board can't read a document clearly, like over 200 school districts have done, and have settled, and we are in our classrooms and in our buildings teaching kids today, all over the state, in over 200 school districts. Oddly, your superintendent and school board are confused about the intent of the bill. I can't explain that.
So when you talk about those 200 districts settling and being back to work and coming and agreeing on really very good contracts, what's different about those 200 districts and the 9 districts that are like striking at this point?
Again, I can't speak for how your superintendent and school board think, but it was very clear in the bill that passed. This is for back pay for 20 years of underpayment in salary for classified and certificated employees. It's that simple. And to take the money and put it anywhere else is flat out wage theft.
So it's not just a salary increase going forward, it is actually legally considered back pay.
Yeah, because they underfunded us for decades. And the state Supreme Court said, look, there's a minimum salary we got to get to here to attract and retain, and also back pay. Those were the three issues. And the Supreme Court recognized you can't get people to come into our profession if you continually underpay them. So there's back pay issue, and then there's attract and retain issue. And that's how they got to these dollar amounts. The legislature, it may not be a perfect bill, because there's no such thing as a perfect bill. That's what we teach our students. But you got to start somewhere, and the state legislature did a great job with $2 billion. $2 billion into salary. And like I said, the vast majority of school districts said, you're right, let's put it into salary. I don't know why your superintendent doesn't understand that.
So, we're teachers, we're rule followers. So, being taken to court is concerning for a lot of members. I've got kind of a two-part. Will the court consider that there are 200 districts in our state that have come to the table and have come to an agreement? Will that set a precedence for us? And the second part is, if the judge does decide to rule on the district side, how strong of a path do we have to say, yeah, no, because we are in the right. We are in the right.
Right. So I can't, I only play a lawyer in my classroom when we're doing the judiciary branch of government. So I can't predict what will sway the judge's decision. What I know is, you say rule followers. We have a rule. It's called the McCleary Supreme Court decision. We have a law signed by the state legislature, the House, the Senate, the governor. Because of that law being passed and the salary money being allocated, the Supreme Court said you have met the McCleary decision. So that is law. That is the rule. And that is what the Tumwater leadership should follow. Yep.
Why do they keep saying Tumwater's on the losing end of this money? You're not getting
No. So every district got a different amount of money. So if Tumwater has money envy with another district, I can't speak to that. I don't know what district they're looking at. But they need to be honest. Millions of additional dollars were sent to this district now for salary now. And to take any of that money and put it to anything else, again, is wage theft. Now, did other districts get more? Yes. Did other districts get less? Yes. But put the salary money into salary, and we're done here. It's that simple. There was a hand up over here.
More or less my question.
You got it.
About the levy argument. So the money, the exact amount, do we know that, and will we know when they have offered that to us?
Yeah, your bargaining team knows the exact amount. Yeah. I don't have it off the top of my head because there's 275 school districts. Yes.
When are they set to bargain again?
I don't know. Justin probably knows.
They're bargaining today over at Chinook.
Okay.
Oh, they are?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you keep talking about salary, but we seem to be talking about three things in our district. So it sounds to me like they've offered us a salary, but we're talking about class size and we're talking about safety.
So you're doing that because you're in a full bargain.
Okay.
So your districts are in two places this year, this spring, summer, and fall. You either had a contract that was expiring at the end of August, so you're in what's called a full bargain. That's natural and normal. What was unusual about this is that because the state put $2 billion into salary, it basically told every school district in the state to go back to the bargaining table on salary minimally. So a bunch of districts went to the table only to discuss salary this year, and then put the money into salary. That's again why it's frustrating for Tumwater. It's like, you have this salary money, put it into salary. Now, if you have some issues to resolve regarding class size and safety, you should resolve those at the bargaining table. But the district shouldn't confuse what this salary money was intended for.
Well, because it sounds like that they offered us salary, but we're stuck now on class size and safety.
I believe they have not offered you all the McCleary money for salary.
That's good information to know. We had
Yeah.
not heard that yet.
Yeah. Other question? Yes. I mean, if I were your superintendent, I would come to the table and say to the TEA, here is the amount of money the state intended for salary. Where would you like to put it in the salary schedule? Or how would you like to change your salary schedule? A lot of districts use this opportunity to fix some long-standing problems in salary schedules over the decades, literally. Some condensed the number of columns of education, some crunched the number of years. Everybody did something different. 200 different districts did 200 different things with their salary schedule. But what they did do is they put the salary money into salary. And that's what's not happening here. Any other questions?
Can the judge take our bargaining rights away because of the big Supreme Court, what was that called?
Injunction?
No.
McClary decision.
Oh,
Where we don't have to become a part of a union and
Oh, that's a very different thing. That's the federal government.
Can he say to us, get back to work and the district will take care of this? Can he say that to us?
I'm not a lawyer,
Right?
but I guess that's what the district is going to ask him to tell you to do.
Okay.
You are having a meeting tomorrow to decide how you might respond.
Okay.
And there will be many smart people in the room, including people with law degrees from WEA who will answer all those questions.
Great.
Anything else? Any other questions? Again, I want to thank you guys for doing the right thing for the students of Tumwater. Stand strong, staying united, and I hope that the district will, in good faith, get back to the bargaining table with you and stop and stay out of the courts. And let's just get this resolved so you can be back in the classroom on Monday. Thank you.